like nice coat, white coke. How you live with that smoke? Hop in, jog in. I'm just kidding, I'm broke. Sit a lot, I've been waiting for the day I don't get my pay. Check will make me happy instead of me getting laid. Never done in the middle with a gun. Put a hole in his chest, put a torso, don't fall right in the sun. But until the desert does, we don't have no fun till we chillin' at my graveside. I'll be wishing I'm dead. I'll be missing my friends. Get me out of my head. All the letters I send. I'll be wishing I'm dead. I'll be wishing I'm dead. I'll be missing my friends. Get me out of my head. All the letters I send. I'll be wishing I'm dead.
We are live.
Hooray.
I know there was like subs that's like, Dan, you can't do these last minute. You need to give us more time. I'm just like, sorry. Not this time. I could probably just post it in Capital Mindset, I suppose. Not this time. Hold on. Okay, 1 second.
It's all good. I think each of my more recent live streams for Andrew and my side project were all like impromptu, only like 24-hour heads up notice, basically.
Little did people know. Well, maybe they know by now. If you pay for Capital Mindset, you get all of this. Too. Both of us.
We do tend to frequent that place.
When Fabio's on a private island and locations unknown with his millions of dollars, you know, and us brokies.
Yeah, us normal people.
Yeah, he may come up here next summer.
Oh, really?
About it. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
There's I think you would have a blast. So we'll see later in the summer because I'm near Saratoga racetrack. But I'm like, Saratoga is like, people like look like bunch of. Yeah, I'm not. It's just like, I'm like, that's your vibe. You just don't even know it yet. You'll have to go. Well, my friend knows where all the speakeasies are, and like, it's cool because they even have tourist bars, but then they give points. He was explaining this to me. So even if it's like a touristy bar, they will take care of the locals. They'll give you like points towards discounts and stuff.
Oh, that's thoughtful. That's
so it's
nice.
like a touristy area, but then they understand that they also have locals. Like, it's not like a full blown. It's like 50% tourist area.
Okay, yeah. Because
I'm gonna move up there anyways when I get the kids. When the kids are graduated, I'm moving out of suburbia forever. So suburbia has its time and place in your life when you have kids and you want to like have a dog and throw a frisbee at. And then when that time's, you want to get the hell out of here. All my neighbors are like old people. So a few of them have sold. All right, we can start. I'm just wasting time.
No.
Before I guess it's a main topic because I put it on the thumbnail, but it's just, we can finally have an entire full year of Meet Kevin's investing acumen on display. Because I think it started last year, PP.
Yep.
And the timing of when let me see, when did it start? Okay, so we've had 2 years now, but it came in at a very interesting time, fall of 2022. So it's been through a bull market. If you count from fall 23 to present, you know, it's been a fucking good time. If you just invested in markets or some sort of good ETF strategy, faction investing, I don't know, something like that. So we can look year to date. It's down. It's down. Unbelievable. Like, do I even try it? Like let's chart. Okay, S&P. We can put it against the Dow. Let's put it against the Dow Jones.
Shout out
VT. Can you even pull the Dow? Is it okay? DIA, QQQ. Okay. I mean, this is just fantastic. Look at this complete and utter pathetic underperformance.
To even the Dow.
Yeah, so like he's down. And I think somebody else did a video where he was like up like 0.2. So now he's down. He's down. One of the greatest bull years, or like if you have fall 23 to present day. Okay, so let's go. Let's do the full bull run, because I feel like it was like September, mid-September last year. Let's just do like mid-September to present day. So this is the culmination of this entire bull market. I didn't even pre-do this, so holy shit. Like, look at this. So the culmination of this, and so if we get a huge dip because of Trump, then, I wouldn't be surprised. So here's the bull market. It's been like 14 months, 15 months. It's been a great ride. Meet Kevin is just nothing. Held you, you're in the dust if you believed in him. So, and I saw people online that were like, oh, well, his private portfolio that he shares with his members is doing really well. Of course, right? The paywall, the private, all that shit does amazing magically, the ones you can't see. But then on fault, and believe people, I talked to Chris and I've looked into PP, his ETF. I looked at the filings. He is the portfolio manager. He's the only one that's picking these stocks. So you can't go and say, well, Kevin's not really making the decision. He has like a portfolio manager that's actually running it. He's just using his name. Brandon, you're wrong. He makes the picks within the filings. It's all him. So, and I had said back then, it's like he has too many jobs. Like, even if you think Kevin's a smart guy, he has too many jobs.
Yeah.
How do you know which one he's going to commit his time to? If I was going to give him money, I would want definitive answers about how much time, because you'd see all the stuff he's doing. So, well, here's your answer. He's not putting enough time in, or he's terrible. His problem, like, just briefly watching him this year, beyond number one, he has too many jobs. His second problem is his number. He is so public on YouTube with his live streams and all this stuff. He can't let something cook, like an investment thesis, because he's on media so much. He does live day trade, or he does like a live course. He does all this bullshit, but he can't like invest in something and just let it sit and ruminate and develop and become the thesis that he wants. Like the Palantir people rode through bad times to get where they got.
Yeah, credit
to them. And they had a community and they stayed in it even when it went to $6, or maybe that's when they got in it. But these people believed in the company and the CEO, and they stuck to their guns. Me, Kevin, can't do that. Like, look, he bailed on Tesla when it got to like 150. And if you're the Tesla guy and you bailed on it, and like life-changing event, you missed out on it. And then he bought back in later. But like, this is crazy underperformance. Like, it's not even like I'm kind of stunned. I thought he'd be closer, actually. But I just like, and you're paying, what is he charging? Like 0.8. So he's charging like 10, 15 times the expense ratio of just picking the S&P. My S&P fund is like 0.01%. It's like as low as you can get, because it's through my union. But this is just wild. And then who else has a fund? Gary Black. Okay, let's get Dow Jones. Okay, let's do Gary's. The Future Fund. So let's look at all these people. Okay, Future Fund. Okay, 30%.
Alrighty.
As far as I understand, his number one position was Tesla throughout. But then I always argued, I'm like, why don't you just buy Tesla? Because his fund it was like 15% Tesla or 20%. It's like, at that point, why don't you just buy Tesla? I don't understand when a fund is that highly like allocated to that fund, like that stock, you're paying like a 1% expense ratio. Like, just buy the damn Tesla if you like it. So 30%. Okay. He didn't beat again though. You paid over 1% expense ratio. The volatility on this thing probably gave you a heart attack, because he very speculative, volatile stocks in this. Very, a lot of innovative high-tech companies, with questionable futures, some of them. But yeah, you didn't even beat the S&P. Okay. And we got to do GK. But he went through the ringer this year. Dude bailed on Tesla, bought Nvidia, and then he missed out on the whole run of Tesla. But then he says he still owns it privately. Okay. He didn't beat the S&P in this time period either. 29, S&P 34. See, this is kind of, I mean, this is fine, like, but you didn't beat the market in a great bull run period.
Yeah.
You didn't beat QQQ. You barely outperformed the Dow Jones. And if we factored in taxes, because first of all, these funds are actively managed. You don't get away. There's no free lunches in the world. You're going to pay people like if they're day trading in an ETF, you're going to pay taxes to reflect that, you know. So there is there is short-term cap gains in ETFs, and then they have to transfer to you. So if we factored in fees and taxes, he didn't beat nothing. He didn't beat. I doubt he maybe broke even with the Dow Jones, but oh, there's that.
Yeah.
Who is this? I am happy with my 3%. Oh God. Am I reading this right? Is their largest position or no, like TMF? Yeah, Chris did the holdings like 2 days ago. I think he still believes in that thesis. So the one thing I've learned is like bond, like I have hubris, I think, with investing. I can understand things I don't. If I don't understand it, I can just admit that. Like I don't understand bond market. I can follow people and I understand the basics of it, but like the Fed interest rates can go a certain direction, and you would just assume that would reflect in the bond prices, but the market could also already reflect those changes before the Fed even acts, and that's why, more or less, that's what happened to me, Kevin. He followed like a very elementary level thesis on bonds ratings with the Fed, and it's like the market, because the Compound did a episode on this, so this isn't me talking. They discussed what happened, but the market had already priced in Jay Powell's moves before the Fed meeting, so the bond prices didn't perform. The 20-year bond is, I think, what he invested in. Meet Kevin. So he got his cheeks clapped. Yeah, 20-year. So like there was no freaking move here. But he doesn't know enough about this, but he won't admit that he doesn't understand bonds. I don't really understand bonds. I've never owned them. So short PP. I wouldn't, man. I don't want to touch anything Kevin touches. I don't want to short it. I don't want to own it. I just want to stay away from me, Kevin. That's like a goal in life. I just stay away from people like him. But he's like, I mean, he could strike rich on an investment, but then he can't hold things long enough to let them actually work out. Everything is so like back and forth. But what a terrible year by him. Shame on that man. Wasn't it 40%? I don't think it was ever 40%. I don't think you can do 40%. ETFs do have rules about like how much percentage like the highest holdings can be. I don't think you can let one get that high. I was down, yeah, Dex. So if you're in capital mindset, Dex has shown it graciously, but he's been a Palantir believer, and he's been richly rewarded for it. So Mr. Vanderbilt, PP was up 3% last week. Oh, that's a record for him. Can I make a fund that is the SP, trade just 1% of it off and call it a hedge? There are probably funds that do that right now. There's lots of S&P option. There's so many funds out there. Man, I should just do an episode. There's so many funds that are just like 80 or 90% the S&P 500 and 10 or 20% some sort of freaking derivatives, options strategy of some type, either selling puts, selling calls, doing some sort of wheel, ELNs. Like there's there's hundreds of funds that look like that. And they all are kind of the same thing. He's just some dork in the back playing with options on his computer. And in the long run, you would have just wished you were 100% S&P. Also, getting outperformed by ARK is crazy. Oh my God, did he? Okay, wait.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
navigate this.
Where is the ARK at?
I wish I could play for you people. Ross Gerber used to constantly, before his ETF came out, all the time, he was talking about how he's better at trading and he's a better investor than Kathy Wood. He was dogging her all the time. And he's like, this is why I wanted my fund to show. And then it was like the first year, it was like nothing. Like it was pretty pathetic. Let's see. Let's put him back in there. Okay. So this is from September to present, September 23 to present, the timeline.
Ross Gerber, no.
So Gerber from that time period did outperform it. Okay. Barely. Just, well, no, okay. 6%.
Yeah.
PP nothing. Yeah. Kathy Wood just schooling Kevin. Shame on these people. Anyways, so what else? Oh, I want to look at like it's. I've been having fun with it because Chris does a lot of them too. So he got me to try it. The Facebook AI.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny because it takes a photo of like the side of your head and the front, and then you can just say draw a picture of me. This. I did not ask for hair. Okay, so first of all, it just did that, but I think it's kind of funny. Maybe this will be my profile pic of when I rebrand a bit. It looks so stupid. But the hands are right, I guess. I don't know. I look so serious, you know. Maybe this would have been me if I moved to New York City and I was a CPA. That was another life, but now we know. So other than that, we got their complete obliteration, which I appreciated. And then now we got MicroStrategy. There, should I show the where was the thing Andrew sent? 1 second. Okay, let me pull this. This guy is, I think this is a joke. I'm not 100% sure. All right, let me switch to the other screen so you get sound. So there's this guy.
Oh.
$210 trillion market cap in 10 years. Apple's market cap is 70 times less than that. How could he?
All right, for context for people. So he where'd it go? So he put a model out, and his model is basically just like a calculator. So I think he's just like screwing with people.
Hopefully.
Okay, here it is. It was down at the bottom. Okay, yeah. So this was his model. MicroStrategy will own 10% of Bitcoin. Bitcoin will be worth $10 million. And then he applies a multiple of 10 on Bitcoin because MicroStrategy is awesome, apparently, because it's a bank. It's not really a bank. It's not. It just issues debt like corporations can. So 210 trillion market cap. I'm not even sure what's the world market cap right now of all stock markets. I mean, I don't know. It's definitely not 210. Maybe it's 100 trillion. So that's hilarious. And then he has a calculator here. Someone's like, your model is a calculator? Wait, I'm confused. Do you understand what models are? So it's like all these videos of him being a smug. I think this is like an act. I'm pretty sure, but this is where we are with MicroStrategy anyways. So what a day to be alive. It's like, what else do we have to say about MicroStrategy? Like whoever bought it, they're not going to listen to. I don't really care to convince people not to if you want to do it, but I looking at these things, like people that have bought that products, like as if MicroStrategy wasn't like degenerate leveraged investing itself. Then they buy 2x versions of MicroStrategy. It's like, do you understand, people? The fucking stocks already got leverage embedded in it. Like, you don't need to buy the 2x version of MicroStrategy. Michael Saylor's doing just fine using leverage to buy Bitcoin. Like,
we need 3x on top of the leverage.
Lord help us. But people like, it's not even about crypto. I really like MicroStrategy is not about crypto. It's about options trading. It's just where people are doing options right now because the premiums are probably really high
Mhm.
because the fucking thing can drop 10, 12, 14% in one day. So you're getting a lot of premium because of the volatility. So I think that's part. I mean, if you like crypto, buy it. You're doing this because you like to do option trading. They're fooling themselves. But and then you've got MicroStrategy was the share issuance. I thought this was a joke. I had to ask somebody. I didn't believe it. So I oh my God, I didn't look totally into this. Apparently they have a plan they want to bring forward to shareholders to go from 330 million to 10 billion shares. Crazy.
What?
Crazy. But
What?
it makes sense though. Because like we said, Michael Saylor needs to really lean in. MicroStrategy needs to lean into the excitement of retail to make this thing keep going.
Yeah.
So it's the opposite of what people think. You don't want to wait until Bitcoin goes down for this strategy. You want to buy into it going up at crazy valuations and crazy. The higher Bitcoin goes, the more he wants to buy it because that excitement is what he needs because you need more people coming into MicroStrategy. And the bigger it gets, the more people you need to buy the shares, and then you need more and more capital to keep this going. So it's as people are like, when's it going to end? It's like, I don't know. You can figure out how it's going to end, like when they can't get the debt issuances they want, the 0 or almost 0% convertible notes they've been getting. At some point, they're going to get to a scale because they have to keep getting more and more money. Those everything has to keep getting bigger for them to survive. So at some point, the market won't bear, like the debt market won't bear it at some point.
Yeah.
Or people won't want to buy the stock. So, I'm sure you can do well until that happens, but one day we're going to wake up and this will be down 30, 40%. Like, and the people that have the leverage versions of this are going to be like 50, 60% down. And there's nothing underpinning it except Bitcoin. Like there's no actual business. So, have fun swing trading it, but good God. And we know there's supposedly people have put like their grandparents' money in this.
Wow.
People, certain high yield warriors are telling people to buy derivative versions of this, put all their money, then get freaking margin and friggin' put all their margin account into these products. And it's just crazy. It's a house of cards. And believe, I made fun of like MicroStrategy and Misty, and I got comments now where people go, shows what It's like, it's not over yet. We'll see what the end of this is. But it'd be the worst though if it crashes after Trump. So they're going to have to pay capital gains on all the premium they got in 2024 from like Misty. So they did do really well on the options that like Misty created. They're going to have to pay taxes on all of that at the same time that potentially the thing could crash after Trump comes in. And now you don't have the cash to actually pay the taxes. And the IRS don't care. Like, that's your problem. But in 2023, you had a tax bill. In 2024, you have a huge capital loss. Okay, but you could only claim $3,000 per year.
Yep.
So good luck with that. But I think people, I think they really need to think long and hard and think of tax repercussions. Some of these people that are doing the derivative strategies or the yield max with MicroStrategy, especially given the year's ending now, and then you have uncertain spring with a new president and new Congress. I would be I wouldn't be in that position in the first place. So it's pointless to tell them what to do. I didn't even read what he wrote. If you make Phoenix, congrats, not listening to Strongman Dex. No, what did he make? 8x?
For
X fucking killed Palantir.
yeah.
I've seen it. So he showed me I think he's Schwab, but yeah, I've seen it. So friggin' Dex killed that one. Market is coming down. I think there's going to be a lot of uncertainty in the markets when Trump comes in. We just don't know. And that's going to lead people to, I think, apprehension considering the run that everything's been on. Is he going to do the tariffs? What about tax? He hasn't put out any specifics on like tax policy. There's a lot of unknowns. The continuing resolution. The one thing on those, a lot of the stuff in the continuing resolution, when they just put out the 1,500 page or the 1,500 page bill, I skimmed through it. Like half of that bill was just changes to the law that didn't include extra money of any sort. So it was just like they always focused on the stuff. There was stuff that earmarked cash, but some of it was just changing regulation and rules for like job training and apprenticeship. Funding the bridge in Baltimore. Some people said that we shouldn't. Like, the F you're talking about? Like the federal government exists to pay for things like infrastructure bridges. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like some people literally were like attacking the bill for that. I'm like, the federal government we need the federal government for huge infrastructure projects like a bridge like that. And that is a federal government mandate. They're there to build bridges and highways and roads. That was kind of odd, but
gotta love when politics get involved.
well,
Interstate commerce, that's not a congressional topic.
this is interesting. Now we've moved from Meet Kevin, underperforming terribly.
Mhm.
Now we have Kemer. I always say Kemers, so I don't really talk extensively about him specifically, but
I haven't
We can talk
followed
about
him in months.
I'll talk about anything tonight. I don't really have a plan
Yeah.
because my market planning will be in January. I got till then.
You
I'm not in a rush.
You changed the logo to that?
Yeah.
The-
Plus, I want to get my performance of my ETFs so I can start thinking about it because I make adjustments at the beginning of the year. So I haven't got my statements yet for the end of the year before I can start, and I'll discuss it later for people what I'm going to tweak as far as allocations to like Roth retirement account,
Mhm.
my dividend fund. But okay. I don't even have to go any further. Oh,
Thanks, Robin Hood.
so I'm learning Robinhood's because I knew Schwab when he had Schwab. Like I know Schwab because
Mhm.
it's what I've used for years. So I could tell he was in a pile of trouble. So Robinhood, it's like it hides it. Because Robinhood doesn't want to know you're in trouble. They don't want you to know. They want you to keep trading. Just like what's in the screen. It's like first thing in the middle is the fucking chart and the total dollar amount, which doesn't even show you how much of this, like it kind of hides how much of this is margin in this up here. And then, the shares are just put on the right side in the corner because no one cares actually about that apparently. And you can't even see like, well, how are you doing on each individual position? So it like hides things from you. I hate this thing, but we saw this before, the little caution.
Yep.
So this little thing here is like a caution, people saying that he's getting really close to being underwater on his margin. And then we used to think, okay, well, they're going to automatically sell stuff to rectify the margin. I kind of always assume that because I don't know. I've never been margin called. So he just doesn't seem to give a shit because he doesn't really know what's going on anyways. But he's like skirting it right now because he's like maxing out his margin, like all of it. Whatever margin Robinhood's giving him, he's using it. And he's like right on the border where when MicroStrategy does these moves of like 6, 8, 12%, which it can do in a day, he's getting clapped with Misty. He's going up and down. So he gets margin called and then he has to sell. And someone in another group showed like he did sell stocks. I think it was last week when he got margin called. They look and he doesn't announce it. But they were tracking on the side what he owns and stuff disappeared. So it appeared like he sold positions to rectify because margin call people like, you have this much cash and you have this much margin and they let you maintain a certain ratio, which I don't even know what Robinhood's policy on that is because I don't see it on here. I know Schwab's, but so you're allowed a certain amount of margin for how much cash you're in there. And then if it gets out of sync, you have to either sell positions to free up cash or you have to add more cash. And I guess he keeps dumping cash in. So this account's just a black hole. He's just dumping money into it all the time as it goes down. But you could see like margin total 146, margin use 137. Like he's just going nuts. This is crazy. But they don't automatically sell anything. Apparently they just let it sit out there that you've been margin called. So, but this train's, the sad thing is like in the end, like nobody's going to save Khmer. Like it's obvious he doesn't care. He's so convinced of this, but it sucks that he's got a channel where he can impress this on other people. And I saw a clip on another Discord. Like, I guess there was some elderly people that were thinking about buying Misty and he's telling them to do it, which I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like, you shouldn't tell them they should or shouldn't buy it. First of all,
Yeah.
you just stick to I like it. And, he's literally telling people to take margin to buy yield max funds. It's just, he's hurting people. There's people's grandparents that are probably going to get crushed by this thing, but I don't know. What are you going to do? I can make content explaining why you shouldn't buy yield maxing at all. There's other, like for retired people, there are decent derivative based option strategies that aren't, you'll just underperform the market, but you will drive income. And they're fine. It's just understanding what you're buying, but like Jeppy, right? But you're not going to get 100% yield. You're going to get like 9-10%. If you want something super safe, you buy Devo. Devo is a sustainable strategy that actually does increase the NAV, but you're only going to get 4 to 6%. So it's like a scale. I think the most sustainable yield I've seen with one of these derivative strategies, I think, is maybe like 11-12% you can push to, where you're not deteriorating and you're still generating that income. Probably 10-12% is about where you top off. When you get above like 12%, it starts going downhill really fast, because if the fund's not creating the return of capital to replenish the funds, and it's just going away after a while. It's just how these things work. The only way they can reverse or deal with this is they can try and get a bunch of publicity to pump the share price, and they can issue shares, or they can do silly things. But so this guy is, I don't know, he's just going to keep doing this. This isn't a sustainable strategy.
No.
The only reason he was doing it, because while he was working, he could just start dumping money constantly into this, and he wouldn't tell you how much of it's being just dumped in. So as the margin's getting out of hand, he can just throw more money in it from his job. But when he's actually retired, which who knows if he'll even tell us, as soon as he retires within 6 months, this whole thing's going to blow up when he doesn't have cash to keep putting back into it. It won't work. So will we see his downfall? Probably not. He'll probably just disappear from the internet one day, or he'll flee the country when the IRS finally finds him, and the tax bill, because he's claiming what, $30,000 a month. Okay. And this is all, none of this is long-term cap gains. This is all short-term. So if you really were getting $30,000 a month for 12 months, 360. So what's his tax rate? Probably like 24. Let's just say 22%, even though it's not, but you're talking like $80,000 in taxes, give or take. So, and that's on top of his job.
He has been on record in the past that he owed back taxes, and
Oh,
I
yes.
don't know.
I heard him
don't
say
know.
it. He
Yeah.
owed back taxes, and he was like the first quarter, his yield max was just like to pay his taxes. I don't think he's filing at all anymore. So,
Ooh,
dude's IRS gonna find you at some point.
yeah. That they got Al Capone. I'm sure they'll get you.
I know Jeppy
Yeah, I'm aware of
and
Jeppy.
JepQ.
Yep.
My big problem with these funds is I looked into it more. I wasn't thinking of buying it. It's a retirement asset, but the ELNs that they issue, you don't get a lot of clarity on what they're doing. It's kind of secretive. I looked. They tell you like they have equity link notes, and then you see him on the holdings, but then like you don't get much more clarity than that, like what they are, because it's a debt instrument. So it's an agreement between the bank and the fund. And they don't really like can you see those agreements? No, they don't. They're not. You can't get those agreements, like, because that's, if I wanted to buy that fund, I'd almost want to call and be like, can I see what a typical agreement is for one of these equity link notes? Like, give me an old one. Give me one you did like a year or two ago. I want to see what it is. And I don't think they will. So that kind of bugs me. And so there's some bit that you just don't know if you were going to buy that fund. And I know people are like, well, the ELNs are better than buying, options, because you're not paying the fees of options that are sold on, was it the Chicago exchange through the CBOE?
Yep. CBOE.
Okay. But you don't know what the hell they're doing exactly.
Yeah.
But you can see the options like on some of these where it's like the S&P and then they're selling puts. I mean, you can see the put and you can see it on, it's publicly listed. You can understand, if you can track it, you can, if you know when they buy it, you can see how they're doing with their strategies. But you're not going to know that with what Jeppy is doing. Some of it, like, it works because Chase did it. Like if another company like direct, like one of these freaking weird random companies like Direction or was it Rec Shares did it, I don't know if it would work, because part of, I think, why it works is because it's Chase, right? Like, you trust them, Jamie Dimon. That's why it worked. I mean, it's been extremely successful. Jeppy and JepQ are why there's so many of these derivative-based friggin' ETFs in the first place, because it got so much assets under management. Like, I think it was like top 5 last year, which is crazy for what it is. Like amazing response. Yeah, because it'll. Well, see, that's the part I don't know, because it's not. If it was options, then yeah, the higher volatility would factor into the premium that you generate from the option contracts you're writing. But they're not writing options contracts, so I don't. Like, you may be right, but we don't know. We don't know we don't know what's in these equity link notes are doing. Probably they're getting better money for volatility for sure. Yeah. I think Jeppy is like 8% and JepQ is like 9.5%, which makes sense because, there's better premium to get from tech companies than there is from some of the S&P companies, like Pepsi. I got about 9x on some Riley options. Yeah, Dex was on the Riley train.
I recall he did better than me on the.
Well, he did, because I bought them and sold them, and then bought them and sold them like 3 times, and Dex just bought it and held it. So it proves to people, just buying hodl. He got better because he got like 9. I think I got like 5. The first batch, I think I got like a 5x. The second one, not so well. Always brags about Misty. It's down 7% today. It's down 20% in the last month. I mean, so if we take like MicroStrategy out of it, like I did a video on this like a few months ago. I think this thing's a pile of crap. I think you're crazy to buy this. Like, you're the whole structure of this fund doing options trading, like on MicroStrategy, like, you should just buy MicroStrategy yourself, which I don't even think you should. But this is such a terrible product because it captures gains, and this thing it's very volatile, so it has these huge run-ups, and you're not getting all the upside. Then when it crashes, you get tanked and you have no recovery. This is going to end poorly for these people. And they're looking at trailing 12-month data, which is going to show that this is amazing. The trailing 12 months of payments are going to look awesome. And the performance of the stock. So they're going to think that this is what they're going to do, and they're going to buy it because it's done well. But this is not good. So yeah. Let's see what we got. Imagine your target investing strategy collapse after just a couple of bad days. Oh, yes.
Yeah. With that level of margin, it's very.
We're not even in bad times.
No,
is what's crazy. We're in good times.
Yeah.
And his strategy is barely staying afloat. Like, he's getting margin called. He's on the edge, and he's barely staying afloat The only reason he switched to Robinhood was because he was getting so destroyed at Schwab. And it shows your loss. Schwab on the cover page shows how much your loss is. Shows it right there in front of you, which Robinhood kind of hides it actually. Kevin lost 2.5 million on TLT. I don't even like. I would love to talk to someone that really thinks that Kevin is like smart or that's not. We all think he's smart, but like he doesn't give a shit about none of you. He just bounces from thing to thing. He's just like a functioning alcoholic that has anxiety all the time, which we saw him doing with Echoes. But the dude has so many jobs. You can't possibly think how much time is he devoting to this if you bought this? Like he's got like 10 jobs. How do you even know he's spending any time doing this? And he's like, he's like, oh, I answer every phone. Like he consults on all of the stock advisory service and what else? Yeah, now he's a pilot. My God. Friggin'. But yeah, you're getting the raw end of the deal. But like let's look at House Hack. No one's gotten any money back. And then he just started this robot hedge fund thing. Nobody's gotten money back from that because it just started. PP is underperforming every index. Nobody's doing well following him. Like, I guess maybe someone followed an options play he did, which I followed 2 of them and they both were terrible. But yeah, what's he got? Does he still have McDonald's? See, he had a huge amount of McDonald's. Now that's gone. Yeah, he had McDonald's here for a while. So he's really playing on rates and increasing housing and like mortgage upticks next year. Mr. Cooper, Rocket Company.
Yep.
Redfin. Oh, Jesus. So he's really like, he's more bullish on freaking housing than you and me, which is, I'm pretty bullish on housing, but not like this.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have like a some might say a weird play. That's about it, and you already know what it is because overlap.
I mean, this has turned into like a housing. Like, you can buy an ETF that's like all the housing companies. I think it's built like it's like a home builder ETF. I bet you it's going to outperform this because it won't day trade freaking positions. It'll just buy it and hold it.
That's surprising. I don't know why anyone would like me more than you, Dan, or anyone else.
Like I don't know. If Meet Kevin just did YouTube, like that, I don't know. The fact that he's taking people's money, and I like we know what he's like. These house hack people will never get their money back, and he doesn't even have to give them the money back. Like his whole plan is to go trade publicly, right? And he's saying like house hack should trade at, I think he said like a double, like a 2x valuation on the properties it's going to have. Like, why would it trade at twice the value of the properties on the books? That's not how REITs are valued normally. That's not how they work. Maybe I've seen some REITs where you get like 1.2 maybe to book. Park your money M1, you get 6% margin. Wait, 6%. Oh, I don't know M1.
Yeah.
Right. I have a little SGov. That's where I'm parking money for now because freaking Schwab's money markets expense ratios are pretty high. I don't know why they're like that.
I don't know either, but it's
Bitcoin's probably going back to 60K or less soon.
Oof.
I mean, it's done it in the past.
It has. Yeah.
And the problem is if you own things like if you just like crypto, buy Bitcoin. Okay, then you understand. I understand what you're thinking is that this is all just part of that volatility and it's going to be an upward trend because of supply. But then it's like, but now if you like get into the world of MicroStrategy and then the 2x version of it and Coinbase and Misty, it's like, okay, now you've brought in like another concept of like equities and derivatives and stuff. And you might not, like Misty won't recover. If Bitcoin get cut in half, like Misty's screwed. You'll never get that upside back. Like those people will lose 30-40% right overnight and it'll never come back. Do either you own quantum computer stocks? No.
Also no. And it was funny because like I forgot how many months it was, but I just wanted to learn about the space.
I thought it's interesting to read about.
Yeah. And like the consensus that I seem to have found was for academics and maybe for some like academic government related stuff, maybe there's something there, but far too early. And this run is I'm not interested in a long position
So
on
we
that.
just completely jumped from AI
Yeah,
right
to
to quantum.
yeah, it's like
AI
but,
is so yesterday.
yeah, but quantum has been around for like as a
Oh
thing
yeah,
that
it's
everybody's
like a
working on.
theoretical.
Yeah,
It's like theoretical. I mean, it's
yeah.
fine, but
Yeah, it's like I'm not saying it's necessarily all going to go away, but the companies, some of them are really shaky from a
like
fundamental
it's the same
perspective.
principle for people. It's
Yeah,
like if you look at like these little bullshit companies, and there's just thousands of them out there. They don't make money.
yeah,
Like net, I can tell you, like most of them look like it's like they don't make money. So net income is like, oh, maybe one quarter ever was positive. They are share diluting all the time. Operating free cash flow is non-existent. But they have a really pretty website. Most of
hmm
them really great, high tech looking website. Um, but like they're all the same. It's all just hopes and dreams. And then you find out they start paying, YouTubers to advertise these bullshit companies. Like I got an offer to advertise a Canadian mining website, which was weird. So I asked them, I'm like, how much you want to pay? I'm just kind of curious because they sent me the info and I messaged back. I'm like, hey, what are you offering me? And then they never responded. I was like, okay, this is weird. I mean, why'd you bother? Did Meet Kevin really do that bad? I haven't kept up with him months. Yeah.
yes, yeah,
So basically, yeah, what was it? He's down like 2% this year now as of today. And then from the full bull run, it's pathetic.
hmm
It's like nothing. He's just screwing people. He has so much money, just random stuff. He's brag about it. I and people the sad thing is people like trust him, but like he has all like he thinks he can invest in anything. Like nothing's offline, I don't know what his process is. It's something related to technical analysis. I've seen him do the line drawing. But then he lies when people actually have asked him in the past like what his investing style is, he just lies. It's really just about like he's like a sentiment momentum dude with lines on a chart. Like, and I think he's just guessing sometimes. But damn, why would you follow him? I wouldn't follow him, Eat Kevin. Like the one trade he did, I think that was the super micro one. I think if he did buy it when it was like 17, then good for him. But that the funny thing is like the thesis on that is just like I remember looking at it and it's like, well, I don't think it's going out of business. But we were looking at other competitors that would benefit TSSI. So I thought that was a better investment than super micro. But and then they put out, remember Supermicro put out like, oh, our internal investigation found no problems. It's like,
yeah.
and it was one person on the board, wasn't even outsiders. It's hilarious. But hey, the stock went up, right? So they're all forgiven. But didn't follow me on Chegg. I don't believe in Chegg at all. Good luck with that. I don't understand that. What happens to Kevin if rates go up next year for whatever reason? Oh, Jesus. That portfolio. Oh, yeah, this. If rates go up, oh, he's getting smoked. Well, he's already he's not making any money, but oh my, this portfolio if rates went up, oh Jesus. Like if inflation spiked, which there were some troubling signs the last there were certain things that did not, were going up again. I think it was eggs and gas. But yeah, you don't know. Like they could raise interest rates. Trump can't stop them. So, oof. Like my housing investments are probably like 1 or 2% of my total portfolio. So I want to believe in housing. Oh my God, look at all these people. Should I put out the link and see if anyone wants to come talk?
Sure, why not?
So other than that, just kind of recap this year. I covered investments last episode for people. Like that, I kind of did like 10 or 11 things that I had bought.
Oh yeah, that was a
There's
nice.
way more than that. And for people that like from Capital Mindset, like I have like when you hear me like do trading of like things, it's like I have a separate portfolio for that. My real passion, my dividend portfolio. Just put money in my dividend portfolio. It's just nothing's really new in it. So, okay, let me put. How do I do it? Okay, I'll put it on YouTube. I don't want to put it on Twitter.
Uh-oh.
You guys are gonna scare me here.
Wonder what madness will happen.
Wait,
I'll
do
get
I just
cussed
put it
out.
in as a comment, right?
You could.
And I can pin it. No, I don't want to pin it yet. All right. I don't know how long I'll do. If anybody wants to actually talk to us, probably no one's going to bother. It's fine. So goals for next year. I'm not pessimistic overly, but like I've told
Yeah,
you and
for sure.
Fabio, like the last like after the elections, I started kind of taking just money off the table. Like some of the trading I've done, I closed all my options. I only had like 3 shorts going. I closed all of it. I didn't make any big, but I'm kind of just in a wait and see mode because
Yeah.
there's a lot of unknown about what's going to happen with regulation and tariffs and taxes. So, like, I'm not really looking for anything too big right now. But like, I exchanged like, I got rid of like a lot of my micro and nano caps. If I had any of those, I got out of them because I worry about those type of investments in troubled times. But did buy Uber, and then I just bought a little bit of Huntington Ingalls with you. So
I'm curious, what convinced you? Like, what did you saw
well,
that you liked?
when you told me about it, so
Mhm.
this was the price I wanted to get it actually,
Mm.
something in the 180s.
Yep.
So I did a first buy. I think it's like again trouble. Like I'm kind of the risk curve, right? I'm trying to get down the risk curve a bit right now if I'm going to buy something.
Yeah.
So like I don't want to own something that's concerning, I guess, for me. So like Uber and this, I think, are a little more fun or safer of plays right now. But the big risk with all these military companies is, again, what is Trump going to do with the budget?
Yep.
When the DoD budget comes out, we don't know who the Secretary of Defense is going to be. And then March, April-ish, we're going to get the DoD budget. We have no idea. A lot of things are up in the air about it. That's why a lot of these defense companies are going down, I think. And we talked about this, what was it, 2 episodes ago? They have some carriers that might get delayed. If those carriers don't, and if Trump is the typical Republican president that he is, and they don't delay that carrier, I think this is like a $250, $300 stock. If they, it just depends though. Like, are they going to keep on track with the super carrier program and the submarine building? So if so, I think it's good buying opportunity.
I like their that one department or division that I mentioned in the last live, because like that part when it comes to the revenue and bottom line mix has been creeping up bit by bit. Now I'm not saying obviously like when it comes to like stuff like sensors that they're gonna outcompete like Raytheon or Lockheed or like any of the true big boys in that space, but like they are of the size where if they get like at least a small plate from that dinner table, I think it moves the needle, or at least moves the needle enough from a fundamental perspective. Um, and we'll see. We'll see. Like the core business certainly is the one that is one of the biggest questions.
Yeah. So, but they got some other contracts like we talked about
Yep.
outside of just shipbuilding.
Mhm.
But I do generally believe they're in a little bit of a hard time.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
That they have all these boomers retiring and they have to replace them and their costs got a little out of whack and they have to train new people.
Mhm.
It's not the most earth-shattering investment. Kind of.
No,
Again,
no.
like I'm kind of toning down like last year, man, we were buying and shorting. Like we were last
Oh
year
yeah,
was a crazy train. I don't feel that right. I feel a little
Same.
worse.
Same. I've been making my portfolio more and more boring.
Yeah. I have no problem toning it down.
Yeah.
Like I worry that a lot of people in the community don't know how to tone down
Mhm.
the investing. Like, okay, you had a great year this year. Say you did like 60, 100%. Like, and I don't know, they don't, but they keep going until they get their cheeks clapped on something. Then they tone down the investments. But like the risk curve, it's just kind of a gut thing to me. Like Uber is a less risky than the TSSI when we were looking at like
Oh yeah.
swap them basically.
Yep.
And then someone, of course, like immediately after I did it, the first day after TSSI went up and Uber was like flat. I was like, that's fine. Like it's not a day. I'm not a day trader, like dumbasses. Like you got to play the long game sometimes. But
Yeah, because
I guess we're gonna see. So, and then Fabio just asked me today. I'll look at this
good old
next.
yeah. He really likes.
I'm not like a stock. Like I don't follow stocks that I don't really own or on my wish. If I don't own them or they're not on my wish list, I don't know. So I'll have to check this out because I don't follow LHX because I kind of have the military companies I wanted at this point. So, but this is quite the drop. So I'm
It
kind of
is.
curious, and I like how they have some drone defense assets
Yeah, same.
and space. So
Wow.
see, I don't know if I want any more military companies. I think I'm good with 4. So I'd have to like par down. I don't know. Let's see, it'd be like when they first bought this. Like I have Northrop Grumman, and they kind of similar companies. This is like a baby version of Northrop Grumman. Like they want to compete with them. So
Yeah, because
you
I'm
want
sitting
me
at
to
2
join?
as far as active goes.
You can join.
Yeah, Andrew, go ahead.
I don't know how much more steam I got. Maybe 30 more minutes. I have to work tomorrow.
Working on New Year's Eve
Yeah.
and half day, or
I have the day off after New Year's.
oh, okay, one of those types of rotations.
Yeah. But I think even like I don't think Trump's gonna stop Ukraine. Like I've been following pretty intently.
Mhm.
Because like if Trump wants to end the war in Ukraine, cutting off Ukraine from like American supplies, that won't end the war.
No.
Like you think Ukraine's just going to capitulate? Like if we cut off supplies from America, Putin's going to be like, all right, I can just take all of Ukraine now. So I can see him taking the whole goddamn country. But that it's it's the size of Texas. It's going to take like a year or 2 plus. So it's going to it would drag the war out even worse.
Yeah.
Well.
Hello, Andrew. Show up on Dan's channel, but not on our side. No, I'm joking.
Hey.
That's
Can
bad.
you hear me fine?
Yeah, we hear you.
I just want to make sure it's coming through correctly. Got different set of headphones. The other ones fell apart. So I don't know how it sounds. I am just trying out this Godel terminal.
Oh, you've been Shkreli pilled.
It has something. It has something that's really nice that I've been wanting for a while, which is like similar to BAM SEC, but it's cheaper than it. Which is being able to. I can share my screen and show you guys. But I can actually pull up. So I made like watch lists, and then I can actually, and I'm doing the 30-day free trial. So if I don't like it, I can just. But if you look here, this is all SEC filings for like, this is my short list. So I can see, oh, Sonder filed an 8K today after hours. TBCS, different things in here. If I go to like ad tech, Meta, DSP, etc. So, so I made lists of like different things I'm interested in, and we'll see how it goes. For me, this is really helpful. Instead of having to go to each individual company and like after hours and hit like go to the SEC's website. I haven't like fully customized or anything yet, but yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Okay. Oh, okay. Is this? Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
My daughter is being very stubborn about going to sleep tonight. Keep on looking. He's like, I don't want to. I'm like, you are exhausted. Like, you get the. She fights going to sleep. I'm just looking at her on my camera right now. She like fights going to sleep, so she'll be like falling asleep, and she'll go, like to wake herself up,
No.
or she'll be falling asleep, and her arms going like this. They're falling out. She goes,
Yep.
throws her arms out.
You
I'm
try
like,
and like you crawl out of the room. Hopefully they don't hear you.
have you? There's a book, and it's on YouTube. You can see the reading by
Samuel L. Jackson.
yeah, Samuel Jackson.
Go the
Okay,
fuck to sleep.
go the
Yes.
fuck- I showed it to my wife like after. So I don't know if you've seen it, Dan, but it's like
I've heard of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's read like a nursery book, and it's like, you know, the mice are sleeping, the cats are sleeping, go the fuck to sleep. It's like really funny. Let's see how she does. She's like she's like awake right now, but kind of putting her like herself to sleep, like she's content. So we'll see how it all goes. But yeah. So how you guys doing? How was you guys just review the year?
Yeah, we're just talking about the year. I
Okay.
did my last episode was when I talked about like 10 or 11 things I did.
Mm.
So
I mean, I guess you
pretty
went
good.
you full ported MSTX.
Of course.
That's
How many? I wonder if you could. How many layers of leverage? Yeah, like because MSTR. How many? Like what is MicroStrategy? Would you?
Did you pull that
Do you
guy?
think it's worse than 3x leverage? It's at least 2x. I think. What
Well,
he's doing.
MSTR is like 30%. It's 3x or more than 3x. It's Bitcoin holdings, right?
Mhm.
So if you do that and then you multiply by 2, it's like 6x, right? But like also, so here's the thing is MicroStrategy gives you a really rare opportunity. You can short the company that management's shorting because they're just going and selling their shares like there's no tomorrow. And like we're not talking SBC, we're talking like selling shares. And so it's not like this isn't like just straight leverage on Bitcoin. This is leverage on a product that's levered on Bitcoin, but also is selling its own shares. So there's also selling pressure there. So like if you, I don't know if you saw like as an example, the chart today for MSTR. I mean, it's going to follow Bitcoin somewhat over time, but today it went quite differently than Bitcoin. It like pivoted down at the end of the day really hard when Bitcoin didn't.
Oh boy, look at that.
Yeah. And she's yelling again. Darn it, girl. I don't know why she's fighting it. She hasn't slept in like 5 hours. She needs to sleep.
Down 8%, and then went down 3% after hours.
Yeah, so MSTX was down about 20%, a little over 20% of the day. I teased y'all. I thought she was asleep. She is not asleep. Daddy's got to go put her to sleep again.
Bye, Andrew.
This is where I wish it was Looney Tunes. I could get a hammer and like boink.
And there goes brain damage.
Well, you know, I mean, they say don't shake a baby. They never said don't hit a baby.
Jeez. I think that was implied.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Yep. Bye, Andrew.
Yeah, here's like some of the offer. Like this was the one from November, 0% convertible note.
Yep.
But then there's an agreed upon price that they can get the shares at as part of these offerings. That's why someone's willing to loan them money at 0%. So people can read these on their own. But yeah, the conversion rate of the notes. So it's on here, equivalent of $672 per share. So people are willing to loan them money at 0% because they're like, well, Bitcoin goes up forever. So this is going to work out great. If Bitcoin keeps going up, they can do the conversion and get the shares. If Bitcoin doesn't go up, they get their money back. So
Hopefully.
Yeah, as long as they don't go bankrupt. That's the risk. I mean, they'll get the money back without any interest, but as long as Michael Saylor has it. So it's not like our infinite money loop. There's risks definitively with doing this, and whoever's issuing money or doing this is fine with it apparently. Oh boy, yeah. I mean, it's just like, why is this so hard? If you like Bitcoin, just go buy Bitcoin. Why are you doing this shit? Like, you don't need like this is like ungodly amounts of leverage. So people are like, you're an idiot. It's gone up. Like, well,
Okay.
we'll see given time. So
Yeah.
it all comes back. Nothing humbled me more than when I was considering buying something. Oh,
Nah,
what
it
could have
happens.
been?
It happens.
Okay,
So-
what is the stock this year? Is there a stock you really were gonna buy, it didn't, and then it was like huge? And don't say like we're not gonna say like Nvidia here, but
No, yeah.
something realistic.
Yeah, realistic for me that I completely botched. Oh, let me see how they did actually. Da.
I mean, this is the number one for me this year. I was close. I was so close to buying Red Cat.
Oh, Red Cat.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't pull the trigger.
oh no. Oh my god. It's slumped some recently. Ticker symbol BBW. Now I get it. Microcap. Everyone hates microcap, nanocap.
Wait,
Really, really
Bath and
small
Body
cap.
Works?
No, Build a Bear Workshop. Because like conceptually, I understood the company. This was
Damn, okay.
something that I actually put money in. All right, so for those that don't know, someone that I happen to respect passed this idea on to me. So this is not my original idea. I was like, I see what you see. I can wrap my head around this company and I get it. Let me put a little bit of money in. Another person also did the same thing. All three of us saw what we saw, liked it enough, put a tiny bit of money, and like it's had its ups, it's had a little bit of choppiness here. Ultimately, most of us I think got out with like a little bit of profit.
Damn.
Yeah, we like even if it weren't 100% like at the beginning of the year, because it wasn't. It was like Q1, Q2 calendar, like that this idea got mentioned around. Like even then, yeah, I screwed up. That one was one that I saw and I screwed it up.
Okay, this isn't like my biggest regret, but it's
ASO. Yeah.
it's so funny. Like if Jesse was here,
Hmm.
we literally talked about this like incessantly, that like this company literally has a floor to it. It's
Yeah.
fucking amazing. Like Jesse and me had bought it before, I think
Mhm.
in like 23. But we literally watched this. I don't know why, but this is like, for some reason, we're like obsessed with this company. Which is, if people always message us and say, I went to one in Texas and it's a piece of shit store, I'm like, that's cool. Okay,
Mhm.
cool you. This is not Dick's Sporting Goods. But literally, when this company gets to like $45, it just goes up. Like the stock, like stocks can go down forever. Like this stock apparently has a floor to it.
Yeah.
It goes like mid 40s and then it goes up again. So, and then right here, Jesse and me were like laughing about it, like, oh, it's in the 40s, we should buy it, haha. And like, I don't know, got distracted, and then it did it again. So it's like, motherfucker, and then you say you're gonna watch it, and then it doesn't. I don't know.
Yep.
But like,
Yeah.
this is like a stock that has like it's wild. I believe. Yeah, it was back here. Like, look at this shit. So once we got here, 40s went up, 40s went up. Again, dips into the 40s, goes up again. Every time this goes into like the mid 40s, it goes up again. Every time. So, and if you watch this 2 years from now and that's not true anymore, I don't screw you. We were right the last day of 2024. But so that was that one.
Yeah.
Red Cat's the one that I'm like pissed about, because I was right there. I was doing the research. I understood what was gonna like I understood what they were trying to do. I was looking at it like here when it was like $3. Man. But I'm like, if they don't get this contract, and then if they do get the contract, everyone thought they were going to get it. So I'm like, well, if everyone assumes it, then that's
Mhm.
weird. But
And
sure enough, sky's the limit.
Yep.
I mean, long term, like, I don't know. The worry about this is like, it's not like a very like there's nothing like unique about drones. I seriously doubt there's any sort of moat this company has building drones. They're just the ones doing it for the government right now, and it's such a small
Mhm.
contract when you think about the Defense Department.
Yeah.
This is like, it's an insult to call it peanuts is an insult to peanuts. Like, this is such a tiny amount of money for the DoD. But at some point in the future, maybe the big boys want to get into this type of stuff. But right now, it's such a small amount of money. Like Lockheed or Northrop don't care. So at some point, they could care.
Yeah.
So I'll keep an eye on it. I think it's an interesting company. I like this company more than the one that does the kamikaze drones, AeroVironment. I didn't want to buy that honestly, just out of principles. I really didn't want to buy a company that creates like freaking kamikaze drones. That kind of crossed the line for me. And plus that company kind of was weird anyways. Like, is the government going to buy kamikaze drones in huge quantities if we don't have a war? Like, for what purpose? So this is more of an interesting play, but I still like drone defense more. So, my company's not doing so hot. This was not this year, but this was last year.
Oh yes, yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I was right, and I freaking didn't do it.
Yep.
But this was from 2023. So I still have 10 shares I bought at like $80. So I'm going to hold them in perpetuity, I guess, because I'm just going to gripe when I just want to look at them and gripe that I didn't go bigger into it. But I mean, I think that was the first time Andrew came on my show and I pitched him TKO. So that was before Netflix did the deal. So
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah, that deal is coming into effect pretty darn soon.
and what I was thinking was going to happen and the advantages of this organization are happening.
Yeah.
The multiple different income streams, the multiple contracts. So it's like they're always negotiating a new contract because they have like 4 different TV deals and different entities, right? And pay-per-view money. So it's like they're always able to re-up and capitalize on their success. Like, they don't have to do like 10-year like contracts like the NFL or something. So I think and then there was Vince McMahon stuff.
Oh yeah.
Really didn't matter that much.
Ultimately, no.
Could I buy it now? Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I don't have to buy anything. I can let it go. I have no problem letting the bird go.
Yeah.
Free bird.
I've seen and heard enough buzz around NVIDIA, and I let that thing go. So screw it.
I did buy it though.
Yeah,
that was one I was happy about this year. I didn't hold it. Okay, we're gonna.
I'm just pleasantly surprised that like I largely stuck to my style and have had a respectable year, which is a pleasant surprise.
So I remember when it dipped down to like 90.
Oh yeah. Yep.
When was that? That was summer, right? Was it this one? I think it was this one.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was July and September.
Because I remember I was watching it and there was that one little period where everyone got so negative on AI. I'm like, we're looking at the orders. We're like, why are people so negative? Like, the thesis on AI, I think, is solid all the way through 2025. And then maybe by 2026, we can debate if it's still there. But when this dropped down to like 100, I was like, this is an easy buy. I'll buy some. So, but then I chickened out before earnings, which short term I was right because I sold it before the earnings call where it dropped a bit, but then it just flew back up again. So,
yeah.
But it was always a trade. This is not the type of company I own long term. So I have a SCHG to hold it. Let's see. Reddit.
No.
So Reddit?
Did it? I haven't
Oh, yes, it did. That actually might be that definitely is the IPO of the year. I'm pretty sure that came out this year.
Holy crap, yeah, it did. It surprised the upside on my.
I covered it in a video. So I wasn't negative. Like, I thought it was a little risky of an investment, and it's kind of typically you don't want to buy IPOs, right?
Yep.
Like, it's like a running joke. You don't buy a company when it just first comes out because all the insiders are trying to cash out, and it's not like you just get weird stuff with an IPO. So you sit it out for a while, which would have been right in this case. Actually, if you just sat out for 5 months, you would have done just fine. But like I didn't hate this investment when it first came out. When I covered it, I'm like, I could see how they could be successful because they have like a free labor force. You have all the mods that they don't pay. You have free labor.
Mm.
You have AI, large language models that need data. They need to pay for data. And this is something I was thinking about, but these LLM models and these AI models, they need data to feed into these machines. And the problem they were finding, like just generally, if you just start pulling data from the internet, people that own that data are going to fucking sue you and say, hey, that's my data. You got to pay me to use it. So they started coming up with these roadblocks. But then here's this huge, vast amount of data for Reddit, and then
Yeah.
you can just pay them for it. So they had this competitive, they were like perfectly situated to take advantage of the current environment. And they did. They got contracts. They're contracted with several, like Google, and I know they got contracts to do some other data to let people use their data. So it's all coming together for them. I think they have the ad revenue's doing decent. Good for them though.
Yeah, because in hindsight, the writing was on the wall when Google deliberately and publicly was showing signs of, yeah, we're using Reddit data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I
so
could, when
that-
I looked at it, like I could see the path that it would do well.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, and then it's debatable. Do you think that's going to happen? Like,
Mhm.
this is not particularly one of I'm happy about.
Yeah, it's one where I think I can cut myself some slack just because of style and who I am.
I did all right otherwise, so it's all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just like they think they can invest in anything. It's like I appreciate when investors say that there's certain things they're not comfortable investing in because they don't
Mhm.
have the knowledge.
Yeah.
When people tell me like, oh, like these value investors, oh, I'll buy anything. It's just cash flows in a model.
Yeah, it's like, no, not so fast there.
That's not really. That's pretty stupid. But
Yeah.
cool for you.
Yeah. Like, what are you going to advocate for? Like cutting a company's expenses to the point they cut bone, and you have a dead company.
I'm
Instead of
curious,
buying one.
Omar, do you have Reddit? I mean, no, I agree. I think they have really good tailwinds with that thesis. They did have a crazy run.
Mhm.
It's not on my watch list. I think it's an interesting investment. Now that it's had some legs out of IPO, some of the contracting for LLM modeling has come true.
Mhm.
So you've got that validation. As long as like the mods don't riot and demand to be employees and get salary, that's like the doomsday scenario. And it's in their filings. It's like this company's whole
Yeah.
existence is based on the fact that they have free labor.
Yep.
The people that manage the website don't get paid. So if that model changed, it would kind of break the whole thing.
I don't think this was like a open debate thing. It was
I
more
was just
of
gonna
a,
have people come
yeah.
on if they wanted to just talk about something.
Yeah. Not necessarily a debate.
I don't know what we're gonna debate in 2024. It should have been a good year for most people. So
Yeah, hopefully.
I
No,
don't think
even
I'm gonna have. I seriously doubt. I had the last 2 years of shorting companies has been just fucking wild. I can't imagine this is gonna continue. I probably like it's got to be real convincing at this point.
Same.
Because I feel like I'm gonna get wrecked on one. It's just coming. Like I narrowly avoided destruction on Sonder by the skin of my teeth.
Nah.
So it worked out. But I knew enough not to dump all my return back in the second time. So that saved me. And I was willing to cash out at first. But my homie needed money. He's right, Craig girl. He's trying to sneak out. Very specific.
Yeah, because for me, the shorting that really went against me was a company called Duckhorn, ticker symbol NAPA. Because I was like, oh, the wine market is really rough on suppliers right now, and this company, that's pretty much all they do.
Oh, Napa. I thought you said
Yep.
Napa.
Yeah, and yeah,
Are they bankrupt?
No,
Oh,
they
no.
got acquired. They got acquired.
Ooh, there.
Yeah, like like I woke up, saw that it went from going great holy crap, that is an ugly percentage. Why? And yeah, I was like, good thing I sized that responsibly. So who cares? I'm still alive.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, wine. I was thinking like, I think like there is some concern because millennials buy it. Like a lot of the surveys you see, like millennials don't drink. They drink in much less quantity than like baby boomers.
Mhm.
So, like I don't know anybody that drinks wine on a regular basis. I was thinking about this. Like anybody
Oh
around my
dang, really? Like
yeah.
not even
I mean, I have
espresso
friends
Starbucks
like
friends?
whiskey bourbon people.
Yeah.
Most of my friends actually I would classify as like whiskey bourbon Scotch people. That also like to go to craft breweries. Like nobody's buying Bud Light, Miller Lite that I know. Nobody's buying those beers. So we either do like whiskey or we do like craft beers because there's microbreweries everywhere.
Yep.
Um,
So it seems to me like alcohol will still be in for rough year
yeah.
for next year.
It's funny too because you're getting the same themes now because 2024 at the beginning of the year, people were saying value stocks will resurgence. Growth has had its run. Small caps are coming back because of the huge run of the like Mag 7 and QQQ. And then I look now, you're getting the same. It's like the same regurgitated storyline again. But I'm like, are they right this time? Because I would. It's like the run with the bull run just started in the fall of 23, and they were saying in January it was already too hot, and then the market just kept going. So at this point, who knows? I mean, so a lot of people are saying like value driven investing should do really well this year, which would be like, I guess you could say SCHD almost, maybe some high income dividend funds. Like I don't normally believe that stuff really. Not enough to change. But
No, I'd say like if a person were to pick, and depending on how they picked, if the company is sensible and more importantly has a position where they can and will and are credibly buying back shares and doing something about it, then yes. But if those check boxes aren't hit and the company's fundamentals are awful, then no. Like why should a medium or smaller cap like expect amazing outperformance relative to like
I mean, the old mantra is that as interest rates go down, that's when small caps time to shine because they debt is more expensive to them, and it's much more beneficial. It just doesn't seem like it matters so much anymore. That old stance. I don't know. Like I probably am going to lower my small cap, mid cap exposure as a percentage of my portfolio. I haven't thought, but like I said, I'll do it in January. I swear boomers are different species, bro. Alcohol started giving me crazy hangovers when I started to get older. Yeah, like everyone I hang out with, we're social drinkers. Like you go out and have some drinks at the bar, maybe have a beer with your friend, and then you go home and that's it.
Yeah.
Like I ain't sitting on the couch drinking freaking Bud Light while I watch like The Bachelor or whatever. So I think most people our age or millennials are like me. Like we're just social drinkers. And then do it for like a day or two and then you don't touch anything for 3 weeks and then you're fine. For sure, creators same pleasure watching.
Yeah, I don't get the extremes. I don't get it. Like, yeah, there's stuff to be concerned with, and yeah, there's stuff to be hyped with, but like, there's pockets of like potential value or growth or reasonableness. Like, it's a market.
I mean, the one thing I do think about, this is something I'll think about this year because I've always been buying in my dividend account. This is my weapon of choice. So I did think about like, I look at like its holdings.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like the biggest 300 something dividend paying companies. So you got, Microsoft, Apple, JP Morgan, Johnson Johnson, Nvidia, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
So you get the idea. And then if what people are saying value is coming back, then it's like maybe I should switch to this weapon of choice, the Wisdom Tree's US high dividend ETF. So this has like the value funds that people keep telling us are going to do well in these environments. Johnson & Johnson, Exxon, AbbVie, maybe Philip Morris. Pepsi kind of sucks, but
Yeah.
so we're not sure.
Frito-Lay can only uphold so much.
Well.
Oh, welcome back.
Yeah. I think I did the equivalent of knocking your kid out with a hammer, which is feeding them a bottle.
Hey.
Pretty much.
Yeah. We'll see though. She's been really fussy tonight. Some nights kids are just fussy and like she'll go to like some nights she goes to sleep knocked out for 4 or 5 hours. Other nights like tonight, it's like she goes to sleep. I'm like, okay, she's knocked out. She's been fussy all day. She's gonna sleep for hours, and it's like 15 minutes later. She's so cute, though.
So what is the investment you didn't make that you looked at and thought about, but you didn't do it
in 2024?
And then it did good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For this year.
So like me, it was Red Cat, and then
I'll tell you what. Let me do this. I'll look at Cap Mindset and say from me interesting.
he's already put
'Cause
mental blocks to not remember it.
No, there's so many. Let's see.
It's funny though, because like I'm pretty confident that everybody that's like a talking head right now has had a pretty strong year. And even with the strong year, yeah, there are reasonable regrets and mistakes that just weren't acted on or acted on properly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I said ServiceNow was interesting.
Did it
up 55% year to date?
Okay. Yeah.
I invested in DSP, but I invested in it later than I probably wanted to. I still made like 70% on it, but if you look at that thing, it's just ripped the whole year.
Jesus.
Yep.
What the hell?
What?
ServiceNow.
Dude, no, look at DSP. That was the one that I invested in before their most recent earnings call at $11. But I was looking at it earlier at like $8 or $9. So probably regret not. Although I did go heavy at 11 though.
Viant Technologies.
Yeah.
What do they do?
Oh shoot! Let me get my dog. I'll tell you. They're a DSP. Hold on.
Oh wait, okay. Oh, this is right. His bread and butter.
Yeah.
Advertising technology company. Household IDs, people-based innovation.
Yep. He loves this space. This would be one of those where, like, I think, yeah, I'll defer to Andrew on this one.
So I pitched these guys several times in CM, and at lower prices for sure. Basically, they're a demand side platform for ad tech, so it's an ad tech thing. So how do I explain this? So basically, in ad tech, you have here. I'll show you. Hi, Tilly. I'll show you a diagram. Ad tech market. And then if I do images, okay, let's see if I can, okay. Here's a really simple one. So I'll share my screen and explain to you what these guys do. And fun fact, these are they bought MySpace, like way back in the day, these guys.
Oh.
Like, I don't think they're the first buyers, but they're one of the guys that bought it. Okay, so oops. I'm trying to find. Okay. So here's like DSP, SSP. So SSP is like Magnite, it's Pubmatic. Google's DSP is in their Google network, or their SSP. A DSP is a demand side platform, SSP is supply side. So think about it like this. Demand side platforms work with the people that want to advertise. and they say, hey, I know you want to advertise. We're going to find the best place to put your advertising. And so, and then the SSP works with the person who has the ad space. So they're going to work with Netflix. They're going to work with Yahoo Finance to put ads on their website. If you think about it for a second, an SSP is a lot more commoditized, in my opinion, than a DSP, because all an SSP and the advertiser or the publisher cares about is how much money they can get on their ad space. And it's pretty easy to say, like, hey, we can get you the most money. And it's like somewhat commoditized. A DSP cares about ROAS, return on ad spend. So if you can find better targeting, better algorithms to get better ROAS, DSPs can prove useful. The way that I think about it is there's only 4 pure play DSPs, and DSP is one of them. You have Trade Desk. You have, they list them before, DSP, Google, and one other. And really only DSP and Trade Desk are pure play DSPs. It's kind of like, I don't want to say the sexy part of ad tech, but it's pretty close. And so when I was looking at it originally, I was like, dude, you're getting this thing for hella cheap. Like, it's too cheap. And they had switched their, so I've been following these guys since their IPO, and they switched up their business strategy. And I had said originally, and it just kind of fell off my radar in 2023, but I said if they get through the hard times, which is going to be 2022 and somewhat 2023, and it works, this could prove to be really good. And their last, their last earnings call, I think the revenue was up 35%. They're signing like a ton of new customers. So that was like both a good one, but also I could have gone a lot heavier in this earlier and done a lot better. That was one of them. And the other one I'd say is AppLovin, which I don't know if you've seen that one, Dan. AppLovin.
As a
Oh,
short
yeah.
or as
What?
I
As
heard
a-
of that one.
as a long or as a short?
As a one I missed as a long. I mean, see how much it's up. Now, I still think like my reasons for not going long were right, in terms of like the way I analyzed it. But if you miss a 700% performer, I think you whiffed. So I think those were my big whiffs.
Wait, what scared you off with AppLovin?
There were, so I know people in ad tech.
Mhm.
Google and Meta don't like AppLovin very much, even though they use them. And there was, especially for a while, a serious chance that Google and Meta could have cut them off.
No.
And if that happened, this thing was plummeting down quickly. There still is that chance over the next couple of years, but nothing like insider info related. But I know back, obviously, was insider info that they, because it was like back here, Google and Meta were investigating them for skimming. I want to say. So people in ad tech were kind of like, yeah, I don't know about AppLovin. We don't know how legit they are. And the other thing I hear from people that are in ad tech is like, they hate using AppLovin. So yeah.
See, and they survived and richly rewarded.
Well, yeah, because that was probably being priced in. Like, if I know that, I'm sure Wall Street knows it. And so I feel like that was priced into the original price.
It's okay, Andrew.
I'm okay. I still did pretty well this year. I am very happy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What is the valuation of AppLovin now? 50 times free cash flow. Okay, if they can hit their targets, maybe. What were your guys' misses? You said Red Cat. And
Mine would be Red Cat.
what you Bacon?
Ticker symbol BBW. Go ahead and take a look,
Build-A-Bear?
Andrew. Yeah, take a look and see, and then point and laugh. Because
I mean-
keep in mind that it has like flagged tail end of this year.
Yeah, but you did well in this, I thought.
Oh yeah. Well, no, all right. Like percentage wise, yes, but I was massively underallocated and got out
Were you?
way too
Okay.
soon. Yeah. So like, again, keeping it in the context of, stuff that you saw, you understood, and you whiffed. In my book, that one was a whiff.
Yeah. Dude, did she wake herself up again?
Although I am proud of my Trump media.
Yeah, that's right. You did that
Right.
one.
Yeah, it's just okay. What's your favorite, not your best return? What's your
Mhm.
favorite investment this year? It doesn't have to be your best or your most money, but for me, Trump, I think that because I nailed it, the timing.
My favorite?
And plus, I thought it was just hilarious. People were applying real valuation metrics to a clown stock. And I'm like, what are you people doing? Like, who cares if the accountants got fired? It doesn't fucking matter.
I mean, it's got to be cons.
That
For
would,
you, Con.
yeah.
For me, Con's a close second. For me, it was B. Riley.
I didn't want to say B. Riley because that was yours. Yeah.
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 Those were favorite just because, like, I don't like pitching really, but what I will like to do is just like share how I got to where I'm thinking, and
I'll tell you what.
see what people interact with.
You guys want to see a quick favorite short setup for 2025?
Fire away.
Let's see it.
I've talked about before nanonuclear.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
They just released their 10K today, which I found out through Godel. They still have, they're not, they have 5 full-time employees. Everyone else is a contractor, including the executive board. And then look at this, their statement of cash flows. I'm going to share my screen. And I highlighted this because I don't know, I'm a CFO. You review this before publishing it.
You're supposed to. There's
How do you miss this?
Oh, yeah.
What?
How do you miss that?
The what?
So in a statement of cash flows, you go operating activities,
Yes.
net cash
No, I
provided,
know, yeah.
and then you have investing activities, net
Yes.
cash used in investing activities. They put net cash provided by financing up there. Like,
Oh my
This
God.
is what happens at like undergrad level, where like you have a quiz or a test and you fuck that up and you're like, oh, I don't care, I got 90 or an 80 or whatever.
I go through
Cut and
our
pasted
audits.
them dirty.
I go through our audits and I'll like redline like grammar mistakes. That's when if you're a CFO and you're signing off on this, well, because the CFO he's a part-time contractor. This isn't his main job.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then I wanted to see what the auditor who's their audit. Let's see. Dude, their auditor is Witham, Smith, and Brown.
How the fuck do you fuck that up?
It's pretty funny.
I'm sorry, Dan. I know this is your channel. I'm stunned. I'm. What?
Just don't say the virus word.
Yeah.
That's the one that gets me in trouble.
What the?
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so
do you guys believe in self-driving cars will be mainstream because Trump will loosen regulation? So I think people are going to get the wrong impression about like the federal Department of Transportation. So like in the end, your state still regulates what's on the roads in your state, but they can loosen some of the broader like safety requirements of cars in the United States. Like your car has to have pedals and a steering wheel, and like certain safety features have to be on your car federally. But like the actual licensure of vehicles in your state is your state. So like he can only do so much for Tesla if that's what people are going with. But the technology is just not the problem. The problem they're going to have is that a lot of the safety data that I've seen is self-reported from Tesla. It's not been third-party audited. The states have not really looked into like accidents and safety reporting. The Department of Transportation was actively monitoring self-driving like accidents, and that's going to go away as soon as Trump comes in. I guarantee Elon's going to make him remove that requirement, because I have one of those reports that made Tesla look bad. But I don't know what people think is going to happen. Like, I see the world like a city, like Waymos in the cities and stuff for sure, but I don't know what people are thinking is going to happen broader than that in the next 10 years. It's this never-ending debate. Just fleets of like all these cars on the road, nobody's driving, right? Nobody's in the driver's seat. You know, what are you going to have, like the sunshade up in the front? Nobody's going to be monitoring the car. You know, one crash will make the news and it'll look really bad, and then that'll be the end of it. So
I have one other. It's gonna be a tough one. Actually, right now would be a great time to do spreads on it.
Hey,
And
Andrew,
another good short. What's up?
have you heard of the accounting firm Witham Smith plus Brown?
Witham Smith, no, but Brown. No, I've never heard of him.
Plus
no name.
Brown.
I mean, if they can't even get a statement of cash flows right, I don't know if they're. That's pretty bad.
That is horrendous.
Like, the thing is, the CFO doesn't care. If I just got paid the CFO is part-time, gets paid $200,000 just to like be a part-time CFO. You know, contractor.
but if this guy was in capital mindset, I would say talk to Kale. I don't think he's in the group, but
well,
if you want to talk about Copart, but
the good thing about them is they work with because Kale and I have gone through this. They work with we were talking about how we thought they'd get a lot of tailwinds as it comes up, and they're becoming bigger. They're basically becoming a monopoly slowly out of a duopoly. They're going to become more and more partnered with insurance companies. I like them. I think I hold them in my like Chad port, which is like my long port that I just don't look at that often. Hardly ever. It's come down a lot too, so it could be a good time to go in.
yeah, I don't know a ton about Copart.
I'm now getting the idea on a company I want to short. I just have to figure out how to short it, which is not NNE. It's a different one. But I'm a secretly just a short seller, guys. Sorry.
Andrew wishes death and destruction on all of us. It's okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Well,
I get 15%.
Speaking about like the car thing, he's like, I just bought Uber, so because I think the downside's pretty minimal at this price, being at like 60.
Ubers.
And you're talking like they've built this software infrastructure. It's not. I don't think anyone else is going to come in and replace that. And then we're going to the, the ultimate risk. Like, do you think Waymo and FSD are going to take over for Uber? I don't think so. So.
I was responding to Dex. He's asking, I shorted SMCI when they popped off we audited ourselves.
Yeah, I remember you did that.
Which, by the way, Alaka pointed out, he's like, if you're shorting SMCI saying this is bullshit, why do you trust Vistry? And I remember I told him, like, fuck, you're right. I was like, maybe I should sell. And he's like, no, I'm just joking. I was like, no, I think you make a really good point. And then you saw what happened, which was really funny. But no, I covered my SMCI short. They popped like 45, and I shorted around 42 or something. Covered at 32. Was like the easiest short ever.
It's a wild company, that one.
Dude, yeah.
They pat themselves on the back, said that they're fine.
Yeah.
The board, somebody on the board's like, yeah, I looked into them. Good, they're good.
They fired the COO. And there's all these other things. Yeah, it was.
So I guess we'll have to now, when the new year turns, get into actually what we want to buy next year. But
yeah.
First thing for me though is just to update my ETFs. Yeah.
Yeah, what we want to buy and what we want to short.
I might be done shorting for a while. Then you're going to drag me back in.
Telling you, these quantum codes are free money. You just gotta last.
Yeah.
They're like QSI. QSI is a failed medical parts company. They were doing a restructuring. They were going bankrupt. They have rallied like 250% because they have quantum in the name. They do nothing in quantum. They have never done anything in quantum, and they will never do anything in quantum because they have nothing to do with quantum. But because QSI is quantum, they are now up 150% in a week. They are up 400%.
Down
400% from November.
You gotta love stuff like this.
A director just sold 3.5 million shares. Here, look at this. Once again, this is on. Look at. I want to say 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3.5 million shares sold.
Oh, here you go.
How do I find? I have to go. I want to see who their management is because this guy just sold. So this is what they do. They sell like this protein sequencing thing that, and I talked to the people that work in biotech. It fails. It doesn't screen. It can't screen like the protein stuff it does correctly. It's completely like failed multiple times. Let me look at leadership and board of directors. So I think he's just an independent director. That's sold. It was, let me see. That's the S3.
They're doing a share offering too.
Oh, of course they are.
75 million.
Yeah, the price is going to go back down. This company has nothing. They were going bankrupt.
So this is like saving them.
Yeah. But they're just going to dilute the shit out of you. And then if you're along, it's like, oh, no. Name Jonathan Rothberg. And he is a director. Oh, he's the founder. The founder's selling out. Very nice. The founder is saying, bye, Felicia. Fuck. This company's worth nothing. I'm selling my shares right now.
Oh, man. I'm sure there's no kid short.
So he bought 6.25 million. He's in 2015. He just sold 3.5 million. If Strongman did a video on them, he probably. I mean,
he did. Someone must have paid him.
Yeah.
Ryu.
Yeah. Let me just go back to. Oh, that's Quantum. QuantumScape popped on this too. Did you know that? You remember QuantumScape QS?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I shorted them because look at this. They popped on the news 30% because they have quantum in their name. Even though, what do? They make lithium batteries that don't work.
Wait, isn't that the Bill Gates backed one?
I don't know.
That sounds really familiar.
And then there's this one, QMCO. This is another one. Look at this. They are up 800% year to date. They make storage devices. Nothing to do with quantum. They were going bankrupt. But they're called Quantum Corp.
QuantumScape, I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's QuantumScape. Yeah, okay. QuantumScape was the other one. That's another one that's popped. They're only up, 30%, but I shorted them.
Yeah, they're a solid state battery company that's never made any money.
Yeah, but they have quantum in their name,
Just a
so
pipe,
they've been kind of catching the.
yeah.
You see here that if you look at that, they're made nice 30%. Now it's coming back down. But if you look at this one might be my favorite because it makes so much. But it just shows you how much insanity is right down these quantum computing companies. Quantum Corp, up 818% year to date, 2,000% from when they started. They make storage devices. They don't do anything in quantum computing. So if you look, okay, let's look at their presentation. Flash file storage,
Yeah.
data lakes, tape storage. They make storage devices like flash drives and things like that. They're just burning money. If we look at, did they have the debt and liquidity? They had net debt of 114 million. So they're getting ready to go bankrupt. So they probably are issuing shares, and this probably saved them.
Wow.
But once again, nothing to do with quantum computing, actually. And then there's people on Twitter who are like, this isn't actually a bubble.
Oh, there's
And then
pockets.
everyone was so captivated to say that I kept hearing over and over again that quantum computing is going to end crypto.
So,
And people just kept saying that. I'm like, what are you people talking about?
well, the thing about quantum computing is before going into this, I probably didn't have to do this, but I listened to all these actual quantum scientists and physicists talk about quantum computing. I looked up like the nerdy stuff, not like anything related to stocks, just in talking. And like I remember they would ask guys like, well, how long until quantum computing has practical application? I remember the most, like, one guy was like 10 years, and he was like giving a range. So probably 10 years minus 5 plus never, meaning like in 10 years is his base case. If something really amazing happens, maybe 5. But also there's a chance it's never anything practical because, like, as he sees it, there's no practical application at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't AI. The release from Google, I don't know if you saw this. Did you see that in Google's own press release? They said, like, it was so funny because it said this is their Willow chip, which started all the quantum computing stuff.
Mhm.
It did like this stupid test that's like, it's asking and this is how quantum computing is, right? It doesn't work like a supercomputer. They do something very specific very well that a supercomputer can't do because it's completely useless, and why would it do it? And it could do it. It said it would take the largest supercomputer that many years. It exceeds known timescales in physics and vastly exceeds the age of the universe. It lends credence to the notion that quantum computation occurs in many parallel universes, in line with the idea that we live in a multiverse. Bro, the guy who wrote this is the most nerdy person ever. But imagine Google just said, like, yeah, there's credence that we live in a multiverse in their own press release on this shit. And like, and their justification for it is because there was a computation it did in under 5 minutes that would take a supercomputer 10 septillion years. So because the supercomputer couldn't do it, I'm sure there has something to do with quantum that they'd explain to you why, but you're basically saying, well, because it would take the supercomputer this many years, this proves that that quantum computing happens in parallel universes. This guy's watching too many Avengers. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, point is, I am very, and the thing too is, if quantum computing does happen, it's Google and IBM. It's none of these little shitcos that are years behind both of them and don't have the resources that Google and IBM have.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're like, well, no, quantum computing is real, it's going to happen. Yeah, but these guys aren't doing it. What, you think Rigetti, who's like working on a 36 qubit, that's median is at 99.5 fail rate, that can't even get a decent gate fail rate, is going to compete with Google? Anyways, so I'm sure a lot of quantum.
With that, I have to do some. Okay, I have to do some gambling stuff after this. So,
Sports related or?
no, wait, I'll show you. So, oh shoot, it's on the other one.
Andrew, are we?
So,
buying
anyways,
leaders?
so I'm in the I'm in a survivor league, and we've gotten to the end.
Mhm.
Like, this week's the last week. So, basically, there's $55,000 on the line. Oh, I can't transfer it. So I've gotten to the last week, so I have to decide. I got to hedge. So I always tell you, like, gambling has a lot in common with trading. So I'm going to hedge my bet because, so if I win this last week, I get a cut of the pot, which at the least is like $5,800. Could be more if people get kicked out. So I'm going to place bets at FanDuel on the other side of the team that I'm playing, so that if they win, at least I get something. So I'm hedging. See, there you go.
Nice.
So I've said this to people, like, sports gambling teaches you a lot about investing. Like, it's the same principles. I think people have a better shot actually at sports betting than the stock market sometimes. But
Yeah, what's some
anyway,
polish and refinement? Yeah.
I gotta hash this out with my brother. He's my consigliere. We've actually, so we do different types of betting, but we talk back and forth and bounce it. Like, I'm gonna end up with about $7,000 or $8,000 profit, and he's gonna end up about 10,000 this year. So
Very nice.
we're pretty good at tandem, actually. It's pretty interesting, but we have different strategies. So, but I gotta work this through before I go to bed.
That's
So
fine. I might just try to do some capital mindset stuff. Oh,
yeah,
by
don't
the way,
worry. Capital mindset stuff will come back, I think, at some point when Fabio stops traveling the world. Oh,
and
there
like,
he is.
like I
Yep.
can't do like that much stuff either. It's kind of, I have some other stuff that's taking up time.
Yeah.
I don't know
Well-
what could be taking up my time.
He will be
Same.
back when he feels like it.
Mhm.
I don't know what to tell people. So
Yeah.
thank you for watching. Happy New Year to
Happy
everyone.
New Year. Yep.
Happy New Year.
I'll see you next year. Stupidest dad joke ever. So I've said it like 10 times today.
I saw another one that said, "Hey, I know I have enough money to last me for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I gamble on 0DT options on McDonald's."
Well, you know what? That's better than Mr. Cooper. So I'm happy for you.
Ooh.
Master Brands ain't doing well right now. So no,
Meet
it's
Kevin owns some Mr. Cooper.
yeah.
Yeah.
Meet Kevin has a very simple portfolio. He is very much thinking the Fed's going to cut.
Hmm.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier. Like, his PP is all just like plays
Yeah.
on mortgage companies. and
Honestly, if
wholesalers.
you think the Fed's going to cut, that might be the best exposure to it.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Well, with that said, thanks for
Yep.
watching.
Thank you, Dan.
We will see you later. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.